Have you ever wondered what lurks just beyond the light of your campfire? Tonight, we delve into 3 chilling tales of campers who found out the hard way that sometimes the wilderness has a mind of its own. These are their true horror stories. Our first story takes us to the remote forests of Oregon, where 2 friends, Jake and Tom, decided to escape the hustle and bustle of city life. They set up camp near a tranquil river, hoping for a weekend of fishing and relaxation. As night fell, an uneasy feeling crept over them. The forest, which had seemed so inviting in the daylight, now felt oppressive, as if it were closing in around them. The crackling campfire cast eerie shadows on the surrounding trees, and the air grew still and cold. It started with the sound of footsteps, just beyond the reach of their campfire's light. They dismissed it as a wandering animal, but the sounds persisted. Branches snapped, leaves rustled, and an ominous shadow loomed just out of sight. Jake, curious and brave, grabbed a flashlight and ventured into the darkness, urging Tom to stay behind. The flashlight's beam pierced the thick darkness, but it did little to quell the growing fear. As Jake stepped deeper into the woods, the footsteps grew louder, faster. He called out, "Who's there?" But only his echo answered. Suddenly, the beam of his flashlight caught something. A figure, standing motionless, eyes reflecting the light like a predator. Panic set in. Jake ran back to camp, but the shadow followed. It stood at the edge of the clearing, watching, waiting. They could feel its gaze, cold and unyielding. The friends didn't sleep that night, huddled together in their tent, too afraid to move. They listened to the sounds outside, each one amplifying their terror. Hours felt like days. The shadow never moved, but its presence was suffocating. They whispered to each other, trying to make sense of what they were experiencing. "Maybe it's a prank," Tom suggested, though he didn't believe his own words. Jake's heart raced, his mind replaying the sight of those glowing eyes. He knew it was no prank. By dawn, the shadow had vanished, leaving only trampled grass and a deep sense of dread. They packed up and left, vowing never to return. Later, they learned that the area was known for mysterious disappearances and eerie sightings. To this day, they wonder what might have happened if they hadn't escaped when they did. As they drove away, Jake and Tom couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. They didn't speak much, each lost in their thoughts. When they finally reached home, they felt a sense of relief but also an unspoken agreement to never speak of that night again. They had survived the encounter, but the memory of those glowing eyes in the dark would haunt them forever. In the rugged hills of West Virginia, a family camping trip turned into a nightmare. The Parkers, a family of 4, were excited for a weekend under the stars. They pitched their tent on a hilltop, overlooking the vast forest below, not knowing that this serene spot held a dark secret. As the night wore on, the wind picked up, howling through the trees. The tent flaps rustled and the campfire flickered, casting eerie shadows on the faces of the family. But amidst the natural sounds, there was something else. A whisper, faint, but unmistakable. It carried a message, chilling and cryptic, calling out each family member's name. The parents tried to calm their frightened children, blaming the wind, but the whispers grew louder, more insistent. They seemed to come from all around, encircling the campsite. Desperate, Mr. Parker ventured outside, convinced someone was playing a cruel prank. He saw nothing but swaying trees and dancing shadows. The whispers, however, followed him, taunting, mocking. "Come closer," they seemed to say, in a voice that was both childlike and sinister. He ran back to the tent, urging his family to pack up. They fled down the hill, leaving their gear behind. The whispers seemed to chase them, growing fainter as they reached their car and sped away. When they returned the next day, hoping to retrieve their belongings, everything was untouched, except for one thing, a crude, childlike drawing of a family, etched into the dirt, surrounded by twisted, ghostly figures. It was as if someone or something had been watching them all along. They later learned from locals that the hill was the site of a tragedy years ago, where a family had perished in a mysterious fire. Ever since, strange occurrences had been reported by campers. The Parkers' encounter was just one of many, a chilling reminder that some places hold onto their past in the most disturbing ways. Mr. Parker, still shaken, spent hours researching the history of the hill. He found old newspaper articles detailing the tragic fire that had taken the lives of a family. The eerie part was that the family had been found in their tent, untouched by the flames that had ravaged the surrounding forest. The cause of the fire was never determined, and locals believed it was the work of restless spirits. The Parkers moved on with their lives, but the memory of that night stayed with them. They never went camping again, choosing instead to vacation in places with more people and less mystery. Their children, now grown, sometimes spoke of the whispers, their voices tinged with fear and curiosity. The family had escaped the hill, but they knew they would never truly be free of its haunting presence. Every year, the Parkers would recount the story during family gatherings, each time adding new details that they remembered or had heard from locals. The whispers had become a legend within their family, a reminder of the unknown that they had faced together. As the years passed, they realized that some mysteries are better left unsolved, and some places are better left undisturbed. Our final story takes us to the eerie shores of a secluded lake in Canada. Sarah, an experienced camper, decided to spend a weekend alone, seeking solitude and peace. She found a perfect spot by the water, where the only sounds were the gentle lapping of waves and the calls of distant loons. On the first night, she enjoyed the serenity, writing in her journal by the light of her campfire. The night was calm, and she felt a sense of peace wash over her. She drifted off to sleep, feeling safe and content. But on the second night, everything changed. Sarah woke to find her tent unzipped, her belongings scattered. Confused and scared, she called out, but only the echo of her voice responded. She decided to leave at first light, but as dawn approached, she discovered something even more disturbing. Footprints circling her tent, leading to the water's edge and stopping abruptly. The prints were small, like those of a child, and they seemed to disappear into the lake. There were no signs of struggle, no clues to what happened. Just the cold, eerie silence of the lake. Authorities searched the area but found no trace of Sarah. Her tent and gear were left untouched, as if she had simply vanished into the night. Locals whispered about the lake's haunted past, stories of a girl who had drowned there many years ago, her spirit said to roam the shores, luring campers to their doom. Sarah's disappearance added another chapter to the lake's dark legend, a chilling reminder that sometimes the most peaceful places hide the most terrifying secrets. Sarah's family, desperate for answers, hired private investigators and psychics, hoping for a clue, any clue, to her whereabouts. The psychics spoke of a restless spirit, a young girl, searching for companionship in her watery grave. The investigators, however, found nothing. No signs of foul play, no evidence to suggest what had happened. Months turned into years, and Sarah's case went cold. Her family never gave up hope, keeping her memory alive and continuing to search for answers. They visited the lake every year on the anniversary of her disappearance, leaving flowers and hoping for a sign. The lake, however, remained silent. The locals continued to tell their tales, warning new campers of the dangers that lurked beneath the calm surface. Sarah's story became a part of the lake's lore, a chilling reminder of the unknown that awaits those who dare to venture too far from the safety of their campfires. As time went on, Sarah's family found some semblance of peace, though the unanswered questions still haunted them. They spoke of Sarah with love and reverence, celebrating her adventurous spirit. Her disappearance had changed their lives forever, a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the mysteries that lie just beyond our understanding. The lake, with its dark waters and eerie silence, stood as a testament to the secrets it held. Campers who heard Sarah's story often chose to camp elsewhere, leaving the lake to those brave enough to face the unknown. And so, the legend of the vanishing camper lived on, a ghostly tale whispered around campfires, a warning to those who dared to seek solitude in the most remote corners of the world.